Hey, my name is George, and I'm a car dependent guy, lifelong. And that's what this video is about. I thought about it yesterday as I was going for a bike ride. Look, since about 2010 or so, 2009, 2010, I've done a lot of cycling. I've done a lot of commuting by bicycle. I've used the bicycle basically for my main means of transportation to go everywhere. But if I'm really honest about it, I have to tell you that never, probably since I grew up or even before that, could I say that I was truly car independent. I was always dependent on a motorized vehicle, and that has never, in my entire life, never changed. Even in the period between 2010 and 2013, when I did not have a motorized vehicle under my name, I couldn't claim I was car independent because my job at the time was actually driving a delivery van for a company here in Edmonton that delivers home medical equipment. And I was driving all day. I was driving all day across town, sometimes out of town, to deliver equipment. So motorized vehicles, the way our cities and our lives are set up today, they're pretty much essential. I mean, without them, we'd have to have a whole different infrastructure, and we'd have to have a very different system than we have today. Pretty much everything in this country, Canada, the United States, Europe, you go probably almost any country, is connected by roads. Actually, Canada is a little bit of an exception when you look at the north. But other than that, if you're within a city like Edmonton, which is far spread out, has a good road network and not so much transit network, and the bike network is just being developed, but it's nowhere near what the road network has to offer. Of course, you could use a road on your bicycle, but since about 2014, or 2015, I'm not even sure, I've been self-employed as a professional handyman. And the first step to becoming that was actually acquiring a pickup truck to allow me to haul materials and tools. Well, that works really well because these trucks, like the one behind me there, that's the one I recently restored, they are extremely practical, versatile. And, if you got one like that, they're also reliable. You can go anywhere in the city, and whatever materials are needed, well, often my day just looks like this. I go to a customer's place with my tools. They're in the truck. I load them up in the morning, and then I see what the job requires in terms of materials, make a list, grab the truck, go to the nearest Home Depot, and it pretty much doesn't matter what it is. I could just throw it in the back, and my life's easy that way. Just over 2 years ago, my first pickup that I had was stolen out of this driveway. For the next few weeks after that, it basically shut me down in my tracks. I didn't have a means of making a living. After buying some new tools that disappeared with the truck, like basically just assessing what can I still do without the truck, I was then using this little car as a service vehicle for quite some time, and that worked okay. But then I was at a crossroads at that moment, and there was a consideration perhaps to not replace the truck and see what I would be able to do without it. And really, the conclusion I arrived at with that was basically that I wouldn't be able to run a business that would actually pay my bills. Yes, there's the option of getting into a cargo bike or something like that and haul perhaps a limited quantity of tools and materials with that within a limited range around the house. Like, you can't really go to the other side of Edmonton and expect to have a successful work day with a cargo bike full of stuff. It would take you like a couple of hours or so just to get there with the stuff. And then by the time you arrive there, my work's physical. So what I need is something like this where I could just rely on my motorized vehicle to haul my shit for me. Last winter, I came to the conclusion that even the Ford Focus wasn't enough for my business. First of all, it's not made for hauling heavy stuff. So I ended up buying this. This, you might say, well, this is totally obsolete. It's a truck from 1989. It's got a big V8 engine. It guzzles gas. It is kind of a joke, right? Well, you'd be wrong, because number one, this is what I could afford. I paid $1,100 for this, which didn't mean I had a truck. I had to fix this thing all summer long. And if you go back into the playlist that says budget restoration of a 1989 pickup truck or something like that, you'll see all the videos that are just about this truck. I mean, I could afford to fix it bit by bit, and you know, the final result is now I have a workable vehicle and I don't owe any money on it. That was the key factor for me to make that decision. Now, I make cycling videos, you know, I'm also a cyclist, and a lot of cyclists that I know, they have jobs in offices and they commute to work on their bicycles, and sometimes, honestly, I envy them. On the other hand, however, I'm really glad that I don't have to go to an office at a certain time. It's going to be the same office every single day, and I have to sit there, and whatever it is they're doing, how do I put this? It's just not my thing. My thing is physical work that requires some skill, requires some problem solving, and that's what I do. So that's why I'm a professional handyman, and it leaves me dependent on a motorized vehicle. That's just the way it is. Sometimes I thought to myself, where, you know, I'm hanging out with a lot of people who actually hate pickup trucks. And that's because today, most pickup trucks on the road have become like soccer mom vehicles or family haulers, where they don't really need to be a truck. They don't haul anything that they need a truck for. The truck bed is only 5 feet long or so, and it's ridiculous, actually. Why would you drive such a big vehicle like this, except the box would be like shorter, and then you have a cab that comfortably sits probably 6 adults or something like that. But why would you have that when you could just haul it all in a station wagon or a sedan or maybe a minivan? But these trucks, guys, they were originally intended as work vehicles, and to me that's never changed. Now, I can understand if somebody needs to haul trailers and stuff, well, these are suitable for that. They're strong, they're practical, the frame is solid, it's good for that kind of stuff. But most people don't even do that. So when I'm standing here and I'm talking to you about pickup trucks, well, in my mind, it's something like this. It's a work truck. It's not intended for hauling your kids and your groceries. I'll be perfectly honest with you that when Barbara and I go somewhere together to do groceries where we have to haul a bunch of stuff to go back to the house with, well, we usually take the car. But other than that, any trips I have to do within Edmonton here, I usually take my bicycle. And it's not the reason that I am so much against cars. No, the main reason for that is that it gets me outside. It gets me the exercise I need. At my age, I don't want to become old and frail. And I truly enjoy every single ride. In the wintertime, rides here can be dangerous. And sometimes they're hard because the infrastructure isn't the same everywhere. It's not consistent. We have problems with that. But even with all that, I would much rather ride my bicycle than drive this truck. Matter of fact, on a day when I don't have to work anywhere, this truck's just sitting here smiling. That's why I can even get away with driving such an old vehicle that probably has worse emissions than anything that's on the road that's brand new, because I don't really put that much mileage on it. This truck, well, guess what? I know how to maintain it, I know how to fix it, and I can afford it. Now, if I was to invest in a brand new vehicle that they sell today, first of all, truck like that probably cost me 50 grand or more. And then there's so much new technology on it that I would be reliant on a dealership or somebody to fix it. And like, do you really think for my little business, the way it runs and stuff, I'd be buying a brand new truck? No, it would have had to be one probably that is like at least 5 or 6 years old, and then be a significant investment, and I probably still owe money on it, and it'd be a liability to make the payments every month. So if I have a slow month, it'd be more stress for me. Now with this thing, I don't owe anyone on it. You know, if it's a slow month or whatever, it's not really affecting me all that much. So yeah, some of you might think that maybe I'm a bit of a hypocrite for driving around in a V8 pickup truck and advocating for bike lanes and something, because I noticed that on my channel, a lot of people who don't cycle, or perhaps cycle as a sport or something, are actually quite against the bike lanes. They believe that it's a waste of money and we shouldn't spend all this money on a minority of people who cycle to work. And to mind come these people who cycle to their office jobs where they have a short distance that they use the bike lanes for, and then they sit in their office all day long and they have no other worries. Well, everybody's got their own challenges, and they try to make the best out of what they have. And to have proper bike infrastructure and stuff, it makes life much easier for a lot of people. That's why I'm supporting it. And I also think that it gets cars off the road. It just helps our city to be a better place when you have space for active transportation and people doing their thing. So I want to leave you with that. Leave me a comment. Just tell me what you think. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you very soon in the next one. And by the way, there are so many videos on this channel. You might want to check out this one next.